look, what I'm about to say is very controversial, and I get it. Jam Adebayo's 83 point game was just a surprise to me. Surprise to me because not only did he pass Kobe Bryant's 81 point game again when he beat when he had against the lowly Toronto Raptors in 2006. I mean, he put up 83 against a Washington Wizards team that's basically sucks. It was like it wasn't even close. He was playing played all 4 quarters. He was chucking from the field. Everybody was everybody. I get it. But then again, yes. But when you look at the context, Wilt Chamberlain's 100 point game from March 2nd, 1962, when the Philadelphia Warriors, now known as the Golden State Warriors, put up a 169, 147 against the New York Knicks. Let's be honest. What was come on with Skap with this guy Skap? I'll say this about Skap attacks. Chase Skap, look, I get his frustration. I get how he's upset. But I will be blunt. He basically called Bam Adebayo free throw merchant. But Wilt Chamberlain was a free throw merchant too. 28 for 32, 87.5% for the line. And it was in Wilt's game scored in a lower possession to pre-3-point era with fewer teams and no shot clock enforcement rules like today. I think people are trying to downplay it. Guys like Dan Dakich is a pain in the ass, but I get it. And I hate Dan Dakich. But but I get Skap's point of view. He said this, what we just witnessed in a Miami Heat and Washington Wizards game is a disgrace in basketball history. Everyone involved with that atrocity should be ashamed of themselves and investigate it. He's calling for the NBA to investigate it and give this an asterisk. Like, are they gonna really all do that? A lot of reactions were they were saying, hey, like you Kobe fans are embarrassing yourselves. I say, don't worry, Skap he put on the Skap bio, but on scoring exhibition in NBA history. You have to appreciate greatness when you see it, Kobe. But he was a class. Kobe himself would have been 12 for him. Yeah, and when his painful records are broken, deal with it. And then this is what now. Hey, salty, and like calling him and saying, "Go kill yourself," and say, "I to Kobe in hell." But mine was more subdued, more lateral. I said, I get it. This seems like a disgrace, but when you call for an investigation for Bam's 83 points, this is like taking a page from an episode of King of the Hill where Bill's record was broken by unfair means. Everyone seen King of the Hill? One of my favorite was like Bills were meant to be broken. A little joke of records are meant to be broken. Where Bill's career touchdown record was broken unfair means by a kid who had an injured leg, walked practically limped to the end zone, dropped the football the opposing player picked it up for him and then gave him a touchdown record. Unfair, that was unfair to me. Everybody was cheering. Everybody's cheering. Except for a few people. Hank Hill, one of them. He called for it to be an asterisk, but he got denied. But he denied because everybody's playing. Everybody's playing about it. Like, you know what? We're not gonna let you take away this record, take away that record. Live with it. I mean, but only this time we can't resurrect Kobe Bryant from the dead. We can't dig up Kobe's in the grave. I mean, this is let's just be honest. We can't really do anything about that for now. I mean, they were big up late, and started intentionally fouling the Wizard, and the Wizards just to get the ball back. Rallying the Wizards just to get the ball back and feed Bam more free throws. 36 from 43 from the field. The line is wild. And the Wizards didn't get it. Then they can't fight it off either. It's not the pure ISO masterpiece Kobe's 81 was. He was 60% from the field with no everything line span. But it's still history. Second all time behind Wilt Chamberlain's 100 in a very different era. Fans now in the history of record books, the Astros crowd will scream that. Well, that Astros crowd will scream that bad and clown show. But the box score doesn't lie. It really does. It really doesn't. And I get it. There's gonna be a say, and there's gonna be a say. Yeah, like you're gonna say you can demand an investigation, but the NBA is gonna be like, that suggestion has been denied. Bam Adebayo is an inspiration to us all. You're gonna see an Eustace Miller and Adam Silver. And I said, enjoy the chaos, but Skap was such. I mean, I understand. Skap is Skap. But the one and everybody agreed with him. Everybody roasted him. Everybody roasted him for being a crybaby. Yeah, but then again, I get it. Skap is just Skap. And he just lets it loose. And he just lets it loose. He's just like what? When I saw him, they cried twice today. But the one thing that kind of pissed me off, and I get it, is this line from him. Take a listen. Did he just call people lazy and ignorant? Are you kidding me? A lot of people will pay good money for your work. People will pay money for your projects, and you call them ignorant? You call them lazy? I mean, I'm not just because nobody is a fan of your favorite player and gives you the right to say, "Oh, you're lazy, you're ignorant." I'm just giving not that everybody will never care. They'll see you they're probably gonna see you as a crybaby. A cry. I mean, I grew up with guys like Patrick Ewing and Michael Jordan, and of course we had Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem Olajuwon, who unfortunately beat my Knicks in 1994. But that's a different story. I was a Patrick Ewing guy. If any Knick player breaks his career record, one of his records, I wouldn't be upset with it. I would never be upset. I would say that at least somebody who has the right to be a Knick breaks a Patrick Ewing record. But for Chase Kaepernick, I mean, I respect him. But to say that, oh, we're ignorant and lazy, it just doesn't cut it. Nobody is a fan of your favorite guy. Nobody's a fan of your guy. People will stick at you and say, "Oh, you're capping for Kobe. You're an Obi. You're a Nikola Jokic Jack sniffer. You're a Luka. You're an objective Kobe LeBron hater." Everybody will say that. Everybody will say that about you, about him. Me, I just say, hey, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn. What's done is done. The NBA is not gonna investigate on this situation. They're not gonna do all that shit. But for Skap to be this salty, this maddening upset, hey, this upset. Yo, you gotta be quiet. And they're accusing this guy of crying. He cried twice in a day. He cried twice in a day. Twice. And they're gonna say, oh, they're gonna be old and say, oh, and they're not gonna try. And you see people say, oh, what pisses me off is now I'm hearing people trying to question what Kobe did defending Bam Adebayo. I would never do that. It's the most stupidest. I think I feel so. To be honest, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna lie to him. I agree with him on a lot of things. I don't have to agree with him on others. But I don't think people wanted to break Kobe's record out of respect of him and because of good sportsmanship when it comes to playing in blowout games. But this reminded some people of some random scrub that ends up on a triple-double watch when it was wearing shamelessly stat padding their stats. Bam is a good player, but he's not the caliber player you would expect to get the record. So he let any record. I think this will open the floodgates of 70+ performances next season, and the record won't last 3 years. I don't think most superstars want Bam of all players taking Kobe's spot, but that's everybody's. Most people's opinion. Kobe saying he won was definitely harder to do because of this era he played in. But I don't think. But everything is inflated now. But I don't think 70+ is as hard as people think it is for our star players. Think Luka Doncic, or Nikola Jokic, or maybe guys like Donovan Mitchell, maybe. But this is kind of like the angry problem. You cannot be bitter and go on a tangent. I mean, that's the biggest crybaby move right there. You can say, okay, I get it. You should have said, I get it. You would have said, okay, I get it. 83 is 83. And this guy, and he came off as a crybaby. Fans are people will start calling him a crybaby because of it. When Kobe put up 81, Skap pointed, Lakers were down 18 in the third quarter. He were up 25 in the third last night. Kobe benched himself 3 weeks before the 81. At the end of the third with 62 points. Kobe didn't stat bad. Nobody did, but actually he did. He actually did 81 points in a game and stat bad 81 points. He would have went for Kobe. He would have went for Welt's record late in his career. The NBA's not going to go after Bam Adebayo for 83 points. Sorry, but I'm not a fan of this. Sorry, but I'm not a fan of this. I would agree with that. I would have said, okay, I would have said, yeah. I mean, I will not sit here and say, well, they're not going to be a good team. They're not. The Heat are not as good as they thought they were, but he just sees it as a loser. And I'm like, score 83 points, and he cries, and he cried. It was said, I totally believe that Kobe Jordan would have scored 100 without barely breaking a sweat today. But Michael Jordan's retired. Michael Jordan is in his 60s. Kobe Bryant is dead. I'm sorry, but we can't ask Michael Jordan to come back. Not at 60 or not at 60, not at 63 years old. And we certainly then sure as hell can't bring back Kobe from the dead. We'll be necrophiliacs. This is, I mean, let's be honest. I'll be honest. 83 is 83. All I can say is to just enjoy the chaos. I'm sorry, Skap, but I don't agree with you on that one. But you're trying to make it look like you're trying to pull a King of the Hill moment, but for yourself. But move on from it, man. Just move on. I get it. Look, Bam Adebayo is not my favorite player. My current favorite player happens to be Jalen Brunson, and Brunson's a dick. And of course, if it's outside the NBA, if outside the next bubble, it could be Victor Wembanyama, Giannis Antetokounmpo comes to mind, but in Nikola Jokic, but definitely, not Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo. The Knicks and Heat have a historical rivalry, and I can't hate it. And I don't like a player who plays for the Miami Heat. You know, especially, but I forget. I pretty much forgave Amari Stoudemire when he joined him. I hated Alonzo Mourning when he was on there, but rooted for him. But when he wanted 2006, I actually rooted for him because Zoe was more of a redeemable player than he was. And in fact, the Knicks weren't that good. They were never good under the Scott Layden regime. They were never good under the Isaiah Thomas years. They had some good, some bad years, and they were that deep mediocre under the Donnie Walsh years. The Glenn years were as good as that, were with ups and downs. The Phil Jackson era was absolute shit. The Scott Perry era showed some promise. But we're into the Leon Rose era, and we are going to ups and downs. We made it to the Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, only to get beat by the Pacers. And the Pacers, and of course, and we fired our coach. He said, "You fired a coach that got you to the Eastern Conference Finals." He got no, dude. He got out. I say this a lot of times. He got out coached by Rick fucking Carlisle. He got out coached by Rick fucking Carlisle, and you expect twice, and you expect him to stay on over our dead bodies, or in this case, over James Dolan's dead body. So when I think of the Bam Adebayo 83, I wish the Knicks player would go for 84 or 85, and maybe go for the 100. Go for 100 right then and there. I would be thrilled if Jalen Brunson put up 85. I would be thrilled if Carl Anthony Towns put up 87.5. I don't care. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be happy. Some people will never be happy. They like I said before, they bitch and they bitch and they bitch and they bitch until they realize they can't get their way. This is the case here for Skap. And I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I don't agree with him on this one, but to be honest, it's not my job to agree with people. It's not my job to say, oh, this is not a critique on him. But in fact, I never cared. What he said, that fans are lazy and ignorant, shows me how thinking, oh, he's the higher authority. Think he's better than every fan? Think you're better than every fan in America? Think you're better than him, including me as a fan of one team and one team only, with the exception of the time when my family didn't get MSC Network in the 1990s. I was forced to watch Nets games when they were on cable. I had to watch guys like Derek Coleman and Drazen Petrovic, the precursor to pave the way for guys like Doncic and Jokic and Giannis and Dirk or Tony Parker. This is insane. And I can't defend this anymore. I can't defend this. Calling people ignorant is the lowest you can be. Just say, hey, I can help people tell the stories in the NBA from my perspective. But you don't call them ignorant. You don't call them lazy. You can't call them uninformed when there's plenty of Heat fans that are going to be talking about this for years and years for years. And they say, oh, fuck Skap. He's full of shit. He's a Kobe fan. I'm a Knicks fan. I put up with Heat fans for years. I'm sorry, Skap. I'm sorry, but I can't agree with him. I just can't. But I'll say this. Be a good human being. Be happy. Be healthy. And try not to be so fucking bitter. And try to be spiteful to those who say, oh, they're uninformed, they're ignorant, they're lazy, they're a bunch of idiots. The next thing then you realize they'll call you, you're a dick rider for a dead man. You're a dick rider for Nikola Jokic. You're a dick rider for Luka Doncic. Then they'll sell it and they'll call it like they'll see it. I'm not a Kobe fan. I've never been a Kobe fan. There were times, but I respect the hell out of him. Even when he won an NBA, even when he won 5 NBA championships, I didn't enjoy seeing him lose to the Detroit Pistons in 2004 and the Boston Celtics in 2008. And that Boston Celtics team was loaded. I'm not gonna sit here and defend this from him. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna be defending every fan. But at least I don't call him ignorant. I don't call him stupid. I don't call him uninformed. They have a right to their opinion. So do you, Skap. So do you. But every fan, when you attack a fan's opinion, they can say, oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm a crybaby. Dude, just say, hey, I own up to that. This is a shock. I'm disgusted. Let's move on from there. Nobody else has to talk about it. You just gave everybody so much infinite ammo for hating you. And that's what really hurts me. I respect, like I said, I respect Skap. But But when he sounds he's supposed to be ignorant and try and trying to be the authority of what context is, nobody's gonna give a shit. I'm part of that I don't give a shit crowd. Sorry, but I don't agree.